I started noticing the small things first. Jennifer used to come home from work in sweats, hair pulled back, face tired. Lately, it was different. She'd walk in wearing heels she used to hate, makeup still fresh, and her phone already in her hand before she even said hi. At first, I chalked it up to a new project at her firm. She's in marketing, always busy around launch cycles. But it wasn't just stress. It was something else. She laughed more at texts, stayed longer at the office, and when I asked about her day, the answers got shorter. One Friday evening, I decided to do something we hadn't done in months. I cooked. Real food, steak, mashed potatoes, the whole thing. I even cleaned the kitchen before she walked in. She looked surprised. "What's the occasion?" she asked, dropping her bag near the door. "Just felt like it," I said. "Figured we could sit down for once." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Nice. Let me freshen up." Jennifer spent 30 minutes in the bathroom. I waited, wine already poured, dinner plates set. When she finally came out, she looked polished, like she was heading to a work gala, not our dining table. We sat. The first few bites were quiet. "Big week at work?" I asked. She nodded. "Yeah, a new client campaign is rolling out. Nathan's leading it. He's the new VP I told you about." "Right. Nathan." She'd mentioned him a few times. Charismatic, sharp. "Everyone's trying to get on his radar," she added. "The guy's basically deciding whose departments get funded next quarter." I listened, nodding. Her voice had that careful tone, like she was explaining something she'd rehearsed in her head. She talked about marketing budgets, team reshuffles, some private offsite he was organizing for leadership candidates. "He's very hands-on," she said, almost too casually. "Likes one-on-one conversations. Really gets to know who he's promoting." I put my fork down. "And you?" She paused. "I might get a chance to sit down with him next week. Just a dinner. Nothing formal." I didn't say anything. But I already knew. It wasn't just dinner. It never is. She didn't bring it up again that weekend. We went through the motions, laundry, grocery run, brunch with her sister. But I could tell her mind was somewhere else. She kept checking her calendar, texting quietly, smiling at her screen. Tuesday night, she came home late. Not unusually late, just enough to not raise suspicion if I hadn't already been watching. She kissed my cheek and said she was exhausted. I asked how work went. She hesitated. "Actually, there's something I've been meaning to talk to you about," she said, kicking off her shoes. I leaned back on the couch. "Okay, go ahead." She sat across from me, hands folded like she was about to pitch a new product. Her voice was calm, steady. "You remember I told you about Nathan, the VP?" I nodded. "Well, he invited me to dinner, just him and me, this Friday." "Just dinner?" "Yes," she said too quickly. "But also no, it's more than dinner." I didn't speak. I let her continue. She looked down at her hands. "Kevin, I'm not asking for permission. I just wanted to be honest. Nathan's offering more than just mentorship. It's an opportunity, a real one." I kept staring. Her voice didn't shake. That hurt more than anything. "I've been passed over too many times," she went on. "This would put me in front of the board. Direct access. It's not romantic. It's not emotional. It's just what needs to happen." "You're saying you're going to sleep with him?" She didn't flinch. "It's one night. That's all. It won't mean anything. But it could change everything. For my career. For us." "For us?" I repeated quietly. "I know how it sounds," she said. "But if I didn't believe it was worth it, I wouldn't even consider it. Have you already decided?" She nodded. "I booked the restaurant myself. He didn't push. I made the call." I sat there, trying to feel something. Anger, sadness, disgust. But mostly, I felt nothing. Just a deep, cold stillness. "Thanks for the heads up," I said. She blinked, not sure what to make of my response. "That's it?" "For now," I said. "Yeah, that's it." After she went to bed, I sat in the kitchen with the lights off, just me and the sound of the fridge humming. This wasn't about jealousy. It was about being underestimated. She thought I'd accept it, like it was just another adult compromise. One night of betrayal dressed up as ambition, and worse, she thought I'd stay, like I had no other move. The next day, I left work early and drove across town to a tech shop I'd found online. Cash only, no questions. I bought a voice-activated recorder, no bigger than a thumb drive. easy to hide in the makeup pouch she always kept in her purse. 2 days later, while she was in the shower, I slipped it inside. That night, I contacted an attorney, Laura, recommended by a guy I knew from college who'd gone through a quiet divorce and walked away with everything. I sent her a message with one line: "Need a consult. Discretion required." She responded within an hour. Meanwhile, I did my research. Nathan Pearson, married, 2 kids, local charity board. His wife, Melissa, was active on Facebook, pictures of fundraisers, soccer games, anniversaries. I created a burner email and wrote her, "Hi, Melissa. I'm reaching out anonymously because I think your husband and my wife are about to make a mistake. I have a reason to believe they're meeting this Friday night at the Ellington Hotel. Room and time details coming soon. If you want the truth, I'll give it to you. No strings. You deserve to know." She didn't reply that night, but I knew she saw it. On Thursday, Jennifer acted normal. Too normal. She made dinner, laughed at a Netflix show, even reached for my hand while we watched. I let her. She didn't know what was already in motion. Friday came fast. She wore a black dress I hadn't seen before, elegant, deliberate. As she grabbed her purse, she said, "You remember, it's tonight." I walked her to the door, opened it, and said, "Have fun." She smiled like I was the most supportive husband in the world. As soon as she pulled out of the driveway, I opened my phone and launched the recorder app. The live stream lit up. I heard traffic, a hostess, then Jennifer's voice. "Reservation under Pearson. Just for 2." I sat at the kitchen table with earbuds in, listening. Every word came through clear. I heard a hostess greet them, then say, "Right this way. Private table in the back." Footsteps followed, a chair sliding. Then the sound of clinking glasses, soft jazz, and her laugh, the one she saves for people she wants to impress. Nathan said, "You look incredible tonight, Jennifer." "Thank you," she replied. I thought this deserved something. Elevated. He asked her about her long-term goals, complimented her presentation from last week. She played it modest. He played it like a man used to getting what he wanted. Then, somewhere between the second course and dessert, things shifted. "So, about tonight," he said. "You sure?" "Yeah," she said, quiet but certain. "I thought about it a lot. I'm not here by accident." He lowered his voice. "The suite's upstairs. Already checked in." Jennifer paused. "Let's finish the wine first." They laughed. There it was, the confirmation, not implied, not misunderstood, straight and direct. She'd made her decision, and so had I. I stayed on the stream and opened my messages. Sent Melissa a simple text from the burner. "Room 707. He's there. She's with him. Your move." I didn't have to wait long. 10 minutes later, I heard her voice. Jennifer, in the room now, commenting on the view. Nathan poured champagne. Then came the sound of movement, shuffling, a chair sliding, a soft gasp. Whispers. Kisses. Then her breathing changed, low, uneven. A few faint moans, clothes shifting. I took a slow breath and kept listening. Then, a knock at the door. 3 hard knocks. Silence. Jennifer whispered, "Did you order something?" "No," Nathan replied, walking toward the door. Then Melissa's voice cut through like a blade. "I know you're in there, Nathan. Open the damn door." I took out my earbuds. I didn't need to hear the screaming. I could picture it well enough. I sat back and waited. 5 minutes later, my phone lit up. Message from Melissa. "Got it all. Video's on its way to the board. Thanks for the tip." That was the green light. I logged into our joint bank account and transferred every dollar into a new account under my name, canceled her cards. Then I called a locksmith and told him I needed the locks changed that night. All within minutes. Then I walked into the garage, rolled her suitcase out, and left it by the wall near the door. I wasn't angry. I was just done. It was a little past 11 p.m. when I heard her car pull into the driveway. I sat in the living room with the lights off. Not hiding, just finished. I already knew how this would go. She'd try the door, expecting everything to be the same. Maybe ready with a practiced excuse, maybe hoping I'd pretend it never happened. She tried the door, then again. Locked. She knocked. "Kevin?" Her voice was tense. "My key doesn't work." I stood, walked to the door, and answered without opening it. "I had the locks changed. Your bags are in the garage." "What?" she said, confused. "What are you talking about?" I slid the envelope under the door. She picked it up, opened it, and saw the divorce papers. You changed the locks? Her voice cracked, but just barely. You're ending our marriage over one night? I kept my voice level. I'm ending it because you made your choice. One night wasn't the problem. It was the principle. She paused, then said it, like it was a lifeline. I did it for us. I laughed quietly. You did it for yourself, and now you're alone. She didn't say anything. I heard the envelope crumple in her hands. She turned and walked to the garage where her suitcase was waiting. I watched her silhouette through the window as she loaded it into her car. I didn't feel relief or satisfaction, just clarity. She drove off without saying goodbye. I figured she'd go to Nathan. She did. I found out later that Melissa hadn't just recorded the hotel confrontation. She'd streamed it directly to a private boardroom group chat. The kind of group that actually makes decisions. No rumors, just proof. A little while later, I opened the voice recorder app again. The feed was still active. She hadn't noticed it. Probably never would. I heard her knock on a door. A moment of silence. Then Nathan's voice, low and tired. Yeah? She stepped inside. Did they see it? She asked. He sounded hollow. The CEO called me 5 minutes ago. We're done. Both of us. She sat down. So, what do we do now? He paused, then gave her the kind of answer you only get when someone's already moved on. There is no we, Jennifer. I'll figure out my life. You should do the same. Somewhere else. She didn't argue, just picked up her bag again and walked back out into the night. She didn't call me that night. Not a text, not a voicemail. I figured she had more pressing problems, like where she'd sleep, where she'd work, what story she'd tell people. I didn't lose sleep. I woke up the next morning at 6, like always, made coffee, and watched the sun come up from the patio. The house was quieter, cleaner, like it could finally breathe. By noon, the fallout had already spread through the firm. Melissa wasn't subtle with her evidence. The video made its rounds fast. Grainy hotel room footage, angry yelling, Jennifer trying to cover herself with a sheet while Nathan froze like a deer. Their names were trending on an internal Slack channel by afternoon. I got a message from Laura, my lawyer. The court stamped it. Temporary orders in place. She can't touch anything now. Perfect. That evening, Jennifer called. First time since the hotel. I let it ring out. She tried again, then texted, "Can we talk? Just 5 minutes, please." I blocked the number. That weekend, I dropped the last few of her things at her friend Monique's house. No conversation, just left a bag on the porch and drove off. Monday morning, my inbox exploded with messages from coworkers. Not gossip, support. A few had seen the video. Some knew someone at her firm. The story had legs, long ones. Nathan's wife filed for divorce that week, took the kids, froze his accounts. His name disappeared from the Leadership Summit roster, and 3 companies he'd been interviewing with pulled their offers. Jennifer's fall was quieter, but harder. She was fired the same night as Nathan, no explanation needed. After that, no one would touch her. The woman who tried to trade one night for a promotion was now radioactive. Last I heard, she was crashing on Monique's couch. No job, no place of her own, no Nathan. She sent an email weeks later. Subject line, "I messed up." I deleted it without opening. I didn't need to hear her version. I'd already lived it. A month later, the house was fully mine. I painted the office, cleared out her side of the closet, tossed the last of her books into a donation bin. I didn't keep souvenirs. The divorce moved fast. Clean documentation, clear evidence. Laura said she rarely saw such smooth proceedings in cases this messy. Jennifer didn't contest anything. Maybe she knew there was no point. Or maybe she was just too tired to fight anymore. Every now and then, I'd hear from someone who knew her, a mutual friend, one of her cousins. They'd mention that she was still looking for work, still staying with friends, trying to figure things out. I'd nod politely and change the subject. I wasn't angry. I just wasn't interested. The day the final paperwork came through, I signed, scanned, and filed it away. That night, I sat out back with a drink and stared at the city lights. The same city where she'd tried to outsmart the system, where she thought no one would notice what she gave up to climb a little higher. What she underestimated was that I noticed everything. A few nights later, I ran into Melissa in person, random coincidence, at a coffee shop near the courthouse. We both laughed at the timing. "You okay?" she asked. "Better than I thought I'd be," I said. She nodded. "Same. Divorce went through yesterday. No regrets. We talked for a few minutes. About life, about next steps. Nothing romantic. Just two people who'd survived the same fire. Before we left, she looked at me and said, "You kept your cool." That probably hit harder than yelling ever would. I smiled. Some things don't need a fight. They collapse on their own. She paused. "You ever think about sending her a message? Closure?" I shook my head. "She already sent a few. I just didn't feel like reading them." Melissa laughed. "Fair enough." We parted ways. That night, I opened my laptop, found the last recording, the hotel room audio, and deleted it. I didn't need it anymore. She had her night. I had the rest of my life. Thank you for watching.